Welcome to part 3 of our video series on residential property management. We're going to talk about marketing your home and how we can provide the most effective advertising and marketing available. At 33rd Company, we do an exceptional job in marketing and advertising your home to minimize vacancies, which can be one of your biggest costs. When we create and post your full-color, detailed rental brochures, we post them on several hundred websites using an automated syndicated feed that will get your advertisement out almost instantly to tens of thousands of potential renters. We also post our ads using embedded Google Analytics, which is integrated into our advertising feed. We track all of the relevant internet click data, including impressions, clicks, click-throughs, page views, brochure openings, and emails, as well as web inquiries. We use this click data to create marketing funnels where we can analyze pricing and make sure your home is price appropriate. We also provide weekly click reports to owners showing all of the weekly clicks, emails, showings, and feedback. Why is that important? We want you to know that the feedback is relevant. We want to know if we have a wide or a narrow funnel of potential applicants. If you have a wide funnel, it's probably not good. It means you have plenty of people finding your home in an online search, but for some reason they're not clicking through. 33rd Company will do all we can to market your rental, to get the word out and create the best possible brochure with full-color brochures and descriptions, but ultimately the price might be what inhibits someone from calling or acting on a lead that they found with regard to a rental property. You need to understand that the rental market is competitive. It's also a little different from the sale market. If you're listing a home for sale, for instance, buyers will generally let you know if a home is overpriced by giving you a lowball offer. They generally feel that everything's negotiable. In the rental market, however, most people take the rental price at face value. So if your home is overpriced, you're going to find that the tenants aren't even going to call. The phone is just simply not going to ring. Getting the best tenants should always be your number one goal, and getting the highest rent is the number 2 goal. In order to get those best tenants, you have to be price conscious. Responsible tenants do their due diligence. In order to get the best tenant, you need to offer your home at a good market value. The tenants who are responsible are going to rent a good value, and they're going to stay for several years. For the owner, this means minimal vacancy, little turnover, minimizing your leasing fees, releasing fees, and vacancy, and that'll result in a long-term, stable tenancy and maximize your cash flow. Generally, within 1 to 2 weeks of listing your home, you'll be able to have enough click data to be able to make a determination as to what the fair market rental price is for your home and whether it's overpriced or not. We can also give you a better estimation about whether your home might be overpriced through that click data and through feedback from our property managers. We'll give you a recommendation to get you right back on track and to make sure your home is marketed at a fair market value. Vacancy can and probably will be one of your greatest costs. Avoiding vacancy is something that we at 33rd Company can do to help you on a day-to-day basis to minimize vacancy and maximize your cash flow. Okay, let's take a minute to talk about residential leases. When renting your home and signing a lease, 33rd Company takes great pains to make sure that we use a rock-solid, landlord-friendly lease. Why is that important? Well, as you, the property owner, may actually realize, you're actually taking some risk. You're the one that has the multi-$100,000 asset underfoot, and you'll be entrusting it to a tenant who is only paying a few $1,000s up front when they take possession. That's why it's so important to make sure that the lease is structured so it's the most landlord-friendly lease possible. At 33rd Company, we use a nationally recognized MHA multi-housing lease. Our core lease has been around, in fact, for over 40 years, and it's been written and rewritten by thousands of experienced property managers. It's one of the most landlord-friendly leases in the country. It's been Attorney General Plain Language Act approved, and in our experience, the language of the lease has never been successfully challenged in court. That is an outstanding lease. We also have a residential building rules addendum, which takes all the guesswork out of leasing your property when it comes to specific residential issues like lawn care, furnace filters, etc. Here are some things that the residential building rules addendum covers. First of all of our homes are 100% smoke-free. Tenants They're not allowed to paint homes or install any interior or exterior fixtures without prior consent from the property owner, which would be relayed through 33rd Company. The resident is also responsible for consumables, such as furnace filters, which are to be replaced every month, smoke and CO detector batteries and testing, light bulbs, etc. They're also responsible for their own clogs in the immediate vicinity of a sink or toilet. That would be a tenant's responsibility. The tenants must also comply with any association or covenant requirements that may govern the property, if it's a townhome association, for instance. As I mentioned earlier, the tenants are responsible for ACH Debit Payment. That's right in their lease. Every month, on the first of every month, we automatically debit their checking or savings account for the rent. Tenants are also required to carry rental insurance to help mitigate the owner's liabilities. You, as a property owner, are still going to have a rental dwelling insurance policy, or DP3 or BOP, but by requiring the tenants to carry renter's insurance, that serves as an important mitigation tool for you, because now they have a resource for any issues that might be as a result of damage to the property or their property, or to liability that may be caused or incurred during the course of a tenancy. Residents and guests also must not park more than 2 vehicles in front of the home. No commercial vehicles, no buses, trucks, trailers, dilapidated vehicles. We don't want urban sprawl out in front of your rental home. We want to make sure that the residential home is in good keeping with the neighborhood. And that's what garages are for. If they've got a commercial vehicle or a boat, for instance, that goes in the garage. We don't want to have more than 2 vehicles out in front of the home, or any excess vehicles that could cause issues in the neighborhood. The next thing to consider is that all contact with the property would be through us. One of the primary risk mitigation tools in keeping the lease out of the owner's name and keeping it in the property manager's name is that guess whose name is not on the lease? Yours. Guess whose name you don't want on the lease? Yours. You don't want to be party to a lawsuit. You don't want to be involved in tenant disputes. You also don't want to be involved with a HUD complaint, if should that arise. When we turn around, we have a separate lease agreement with the tenant directly after we've signed a management agreement with the owners. That keeps the owner's name off the lease. What does that do for you? Basically, as an owner, and as you acquire more rental properties, you potentially could be the target of a lawsuit, or for liabilities, or for any other issues, and keeping your name off the lease is going to keep you a third party to the transaction and help minimize any litigation or impact that you might have. Carpet cleaning. All of the carpets in our homes are required to be cleaned by the tenant at the end of their tenancies. Typically, tenants, when we advertise properties, also receive an advertised discount for all of our rental homes for them being required to do certain services. The renters assume responsibility not only for carpet cleaning, but for basic yard care, mowing, weeding, trimming, and raking, snow and ice removal, and of course the carpet cleaning at the end of the lease. These requirements are included as part of the discount offered as we advertise your rental home. Trampolines, pools, or other at-risk activities are not allowed. That could impact the owner's insurance. And finally, tenants are required to sign a crime-free, drug-free housing addendum as part of their lease. Just to be sure, if there's any criminal activity in the home, we can immediately step in and mitigate that worst-case scenario and implement an eviction if necessary if there is any illegal or criminal activity in the home during the tenancy. Okay, let's talk a little bit about maintenance. During the course of a typical tenancy, maintenance events can and do occur from time to time. 33rd Company provides a reactive and comprehensive solution to property owners for maintenance issues and can even save you some money. Who will handle maintenance? How do we coordinate a maintenance event? How do we assign vendors? Let's say that we have a drippy faucet in the home during the course of a tenancy. The tenants have the option of calling us or simply going to our website and submitting an online maintenance request. They can even upload a picture through our online portal. We will try and ensure that the maintenance is done with the lowest cost vendors. Some of the times we can troubleshoot the maintenance without even sending a vendor. But if it does require a vendor, we'll triage the issue and assign it to the lowest cost vendor. The vendor will then go out to the home. The tenants, per their building rules requirement, have to coordinate a time to let the vendor in. This saves the owner a key charge and a trip charge, and the vendor now can go right to the property and take care of the maintenance issue without having to swing by our office to pick up a key. In the case of a drippy faucet, we would probably send a handyman. He might ask for, say, $25 an hour for his time, and that's a pretty typical billing starting rate for our handyman. He'll bill a few dollars for parts, a 10% markup, and boom, that drippy faucet is fixed, and maybe it's $40 or $50 total. That's a pretty favorable cost for you, and it'll help the tenant by getting the repair done quickly, making them very happy, and making them likely to renew. For the owners, some of the franchise handyman rates across the board generally start between $75 and $100 per hour. So you can see that our billables for handymen generally start at $25 an hour. You're going to save a significant amount of money on maintenance issues. In fact, with our $100 million worth of residential rental properties underfoot, we get substantial discounts on maintenance. And I think you'll find that maintenance issues, should they occur, will be handled very affordably, very quickly, with a very responsive team. We want to make sure that any required maintenance is done in a timely fashion to keep your tenants very happy and to keep the properties in top condition.